Yeah, I do. Can you hear it?
We're live on Instagram.
We are live.
I don't know about YouTube, but we're live on Instagram.
Can you see it?
I can see it on Instagram.
Oh, nice. I've been logged out. I want to log back in. We're live. The Infinite Show. Welcome. 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 It's not letting me log back in. Okay. Well, I'm just going to trust. You should leave us a comment.
Sure.
On Instagram and then see if it comes up.
Oh, yeah? Can you go check out the YouTube page and just see if it's there or not there?
Yeah. YouTube. That'd be pretty great if it was there. That's weird. The Infinite Show didn't come up for me.
Okay, so I'm seeing a little note here that says some destinations won't get comments. Learn more. Because I just posted a comment on Instagram, but I don't see it. In our little queue here.
Oh, yeah. I see it. Oh, I see it on Instagram. You posted beautiful.
On Instagram?
Yes.
So I'm going to try to post a comment from StreamYard, see if it shows up back. But I don't see the beautiful comment.
That didn't show up on StreamYard. It showed up on Instagram. Oh, it tells which platforms it supports for reading and for posting. Instagram Live doesn't do read or post. Interesting. YouTube does read and post. Twitch does read and post. Facebook pages does read and post. LinkedIn, X, and Hopin, you get to do read. And Instagram Live is neither. So StreamYard isn't connected to the account we're streaming to. It's just sending the stream to the URL we provided, is what it says. Well, it's a shame because people are really missing out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even. Let's see. Oh, view your channel. Oh, yeah. We're on YouTube right now.
That's what I was trying to check out.
Oh, okay. To build up. Yeah. Okay. Great.
I just Googled the Infinite Show and I can't find it.
Yeah.
Too many things.
Let me send you the link to the live stream.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There's a button down here. Let me.
How do you know how many viewers there are? I see your comment that said "Hello World."
Right, because I
show up on YouTube.
Yes, that makes sense. That was the test I was doing, which was through StreamYard. If I put a comment, would it syndicate the comments out, which it just did.
And it comes out from the Infinite Show.
Right, and now I got it up on my phone thanks to that link you sent.
That's great.
So cool.
What if I? Oh, and then from YouTube, if I type, I'm typing as the Infinite Show, but you're logged into Instagram as you.
Mm-hmm.
So type something into the chat on YouTube.
We'll have
And
to log
let's-
into YouTube first, right?
Do you have to log in to be able to chat on that stream?
I would
Maybe.
assume so. Like I'm on the stream now and it's working,
Yeah.
but I don't see a place to comment.
To chat. You don't see a top chat.
I can try to log in.
Okay.
Or I could try to open it in my app too. I'm just watching from a browser.
Managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Okay.
All right, let me try to chat.
Yeah. Begging you, put your loving hands down, baby. Begging you.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Hello, Infinite World.
You see it?
Yep.
Amazing. Do you hear Joe Jackson in the background singing Steppin' Out?
I do.
Oh, dude, I love that we figured out how to play music, how to live stream, how to share. We're really doing it. Oh, look at that. Hello, Infinite World. Right back at you, AK. Oh, yeah. There's Aaron Krinsky. Said, hello, Infinite World.
If I do a heart on the live stream on YouTube, does that then show up in some way?
Let's see.
I've done it a few times. Added a 100.
I don't see that showing up on StreamYard.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Can you put up a banner that says ask or say anything you want or something like that? Ask any question ever or something. So if somebody sees this, that could be kind of a fun thing. If we ever see somebody come on, be like, hey, just ask anything. Ask any question about anything. That could be an interesting way to start a conversation. Eventually, we're going to call somebody up to be on video. Like we'll send them a link and they'll come up and we'll have a conversation. Until then, we'll just listen to the Pointer Sisters.
We'll just keep waiting.
Yeah. Take that exact same thing you just wrote, but then write it in a way that you want to, that is different. Does that make sense? Wow. 6.4 million monthly listeners the Pointer Sisters get on Spotify every month. Dude, do you realize the catalog that the Pointer Sisters put out? Because 6.5 million, in 2024, it's pretty solid. It's bigger that's way more than a lot of really popular bands. So it's like, who's listening to the Pointer Sisters? He's So Shy is a great fucking song, but it's not getting 6 million listens. So what are the Pointer Sisters' top 3 songs? Any idea?
I couldn't name them. I'm pretty good with oldies, but I can't
Yeah.
name their.
Do you want to go 1 through 3? Let's go 3, 2, 1. Number 3.
Please.
I'm gonna.
Kind of has a Steely Dan vibe a little bit.
A little bit. I kind of jumped ahead so we can get into the chorus. Does it sound familiar yet? Want a man with a slow hand. I want a lover with an easy touch. I never knew this was the Pointer Sisters.
I thought it was Steely Dan.
Yeah. So that's number 3. Number 2.
Wait, I gotta tell you something.
Oh yeah.
A documentary filmmaker reached out to Steely Dan. This is very recently, and asked if he would participate in his documentary about yacht rock. And Steely Dan, the main guy, hung up on him. Just hung up on him immediately.
Really? That have you seen that yacht rock like the documentary it's probably for? I've seen trailers for it. Fuck, I might actually watch it tonight. It's one of the, because I have to watch it eventually.
Can we put the trailer up? Can we watch the trailer?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next 2, just all of this, the Pointer Sisters, Slow Hand, which is a great fucking song, and then this banger. Do you remember this?
Oh, of course. This is in all the dance. This is in my sister's favorite all-time dance movie called Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which is a movie about dancing.
So this is also the Pointer Sisters. Let's get to. Let's jump, oh my love, jump in. Kisses in the night, babe. So that's a fucking banger. Also, the Pointer Sisters.
Oh wait, what's that song called?
It's called Jump. And then, also the Pointer Sisters, their number 1 most popular song is with 578 million streams. The Pointer Sisters have a song with 578 million streams. Do you know what it is?
No.
Do you want a clue?
Sure.
Jesse Spano, Saved by the Bell.
It's in Saved by the Bell? Or it's
Jesse?
I
would venture to guess that this song would have 100 million less listens if not for Jesse Spano and Saved by the Bell.
It would have even more listens, you're saying?
It would have less. It would have 100 million less listens. I'm saying that my estimation is Jesse Spano's impact on this song is maybe not exactly as big, but definitely in the conversation of as big as Wayne's World was to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Got it. But I'm confused because was it featured on Saved by the Bell or some other thing that involved Jesse from Saved by the Bell?
Yes. Yeah, it was. I think I should just play it for you.
Okay.
And then you'll know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. When Jesse was taking those uppers to study and she kind of had that breakdown. It was just really, do you remember that? Oh my gosh. That's a legendary moment in Saved by the Bell when Zach came over and he was like worried about her. And she was like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. And then she broke down in his arms. It was, I can't believe you don't know that.
No, I didn't watch enough Saved by the Bell. I certainly saw it, but it was never, I never got into the, like, I was never on the boat.
Wow. And speaking of the boat, let's watch the Yacht Rock trailer. Yacht Rock, a DOCK documentary. That's how clever that is. Okay, so let's share the trailer for Yacht Rock.
This is awesome.
You don't know me.
Michael McDonald. Oh my gosh.
The fucking best. Yeah.
It rocks, but it doesn't rock too hard. The singers all seem to be saying, hey, it's gonna be okay.
It's perfect sitting down dancing music.
Also known as Yacht Rock.
Bill
LA
Simmons
in the 1970s.
produced it.
It was an amazing time. There's these really talented session guys who can play anything.
Steely Dan,
The Doobie Brothers.
Toto,
Kenny Loggins.
Christopher Cross, Michael fucking McDonald.
You have these sensational white musicians who had been acculturated on black music styles.
You write what you hear, what you feel.
A lot of the black stations picked up my first album. They made it a hit. It caused a buzz that we weren't used to getting.
Just seemed to really connect with the audience.
These artists provided the soundtrack of our lives, and then suddenly all that changed.
The video killed the radio star thing. It was just absolutely true in my case.
Top 40 careers have a natural end. They always do and always will.
I expected to be totally forgotten by the end of the 80s.
That's what a fool believes, Kenny. That's what a fool believes.
the term yacht rock emerged from comedy show.
All of a sudden, this new genre we made up started to get embraced by the world.
Yacht rock!
Yacht rock. Where's my fucking yacht? I played on all those records.
I always thought it was kind of flattering to be made fun of.
I began to see that it was a kind of ass-backwards way to honor us.
Obviously, it made an impression on somebody.
Dude, I fucking love yacht rock. I love it. It's maybe my favorite genre in all of music. I can't hear you.
When did it become known as yacht rock? When did that? Because like I didn't hear that phrase until much later. I thought it was like a later addition to how we describe that genre. Like,
yeah. So, I guess according looks like that documentary was from a. It was from a comedy show. It looks like in 2005 by an LA-based writer, actor, and director named J.D. Riznar in his online video series Yacht Rock. And he noticed similarities between groups like Steely Dan, the Doobie Brothers, and Toto. And it's characterized by smooth melodic music that combines elements of jazz, rhythm, and blues and rock. A focus on melody over beat with clean vocals, lighter lyrics, a breezy SoCal aesthetic, and album art lyrics that reference boating. I think that's too specific. Kenny Loggins, Michael McDonald, Steely Dan, Toto, Hall & Oates, Amy Holland. I don't know Amy Holland. And then Amy Holland. Do you know who that is?
it sounds familiar, but I couldn't mention a song.
And then do you remember? And then Robbie Dupree. Do you know who Robbie Dupree is?
No.
Robbie Dupree only has one song that I know, but I fucking love it. I think it's one of the gold standards of soft rock. I'll play it here. I gotta. If anybody's watching this and you can name this song, then you've just won a random basketball card from 1989. You just have to type into the chat what it is. And that goes for you too, Aaron, because you're the only person listening. You know what this song is?
Oh, let's hear it. Or is it not playing? Because I don't.
Oh,
hear
you
it.
can't hear it?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's try it again. I'm gonna add you back. I can add you now, but it's gonna take over the screen. Let's go.
okay. Do you know this song?
Is this Steely Dan?
This is Robbie Dupree, who was
Okay.
yes.
Because I've always thought of this as being Steely Dan incorrectly.
Yes. Every song gets attributed to Steely Dan.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. But I don't know who Amy Holland is.
I got her queued up to listen to.
Okay. Great. Let's hear Amy Holland. She's on Fire was her biggest song.
I picked out a different song. How Do I Survive?
Okay. That looks like her second most streamed. The genre is said to have ended. I'm just looking on what Google says. The Softyak says the genre is said to have ended with the Beach Boys' 1988 hit Kokomo.
That's the last of it. Oh, that's my go-to karaoke song, by the way.
Is it?
We might have to live stream.
Oh my gosh, that's the song that killed Yacht Rock. Apparently. That would be an interesting documentary of just about that.
I'm not strong enough just to smile and make things easy. I can't put on that gray face anymore.
Never heard this. I don't know it.
I always took it for granted.
So this is what? How Do I Survive?
Okay.
That makes me think of another zone.
Hmm.
But I hear the yacht rockness, the chords on the piano and the melodic phrasing.
Oh, I was reading. I didn't. Yeah. I was just reading about this. This makes sense. That the Yacht Rock's first best record Grammy, maybe that's unofficially, 1975. Love Will Keep Us Together by Captain and Tennille. And I wonder if that was the sort of even subconscious cultural sort of seed dropping of yacht rock, because it was by Captain and Tennille, and Captain wore a captain's hat.
Right. That does check. That makes sense.
Do you know that song? You got to know that one, right?
I don't know about the band, but if you
Love Will Keep Us Together.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And
throw it up on the Yonder.
I do. And it was written by Neil Sedaka.
Love that. Kind of like how Bruce Springsteen wrote Blinded by the Light.
Oh, by ELO?
By Manfred Mann.
Oh, is it? How does that one go?
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Manfred Mann did that song?
I would think it was like a #1 song, or certainly
that
like,
was yeah.
But Bruce Springsteen wrote it. That's what I would say.
Interesting. And look, you can see the captain hat.
I see it. That's a great theory. I wonder if you mentioned this in the documentary.
This is such a good track. Although I have, so you can see my playlists. Where is it? I have made my own Soft Yacht playlist. And I have a Captain and Tennille song on there. The Soft Yacht is like yacht rock, but on a little bit on the softer side.
It's like when you're just on the ocean and it's swaying back and forth. You're not trying to go anywhere. It's not like directional yachting. It's like just cruising where the ocean wants to take you.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. Look at the passion on Captain's face.
There's no better visual description of passion than that mustache.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's just a segment of time. It's a just particle of the infinite that's filled with so much velvety goodness. This music to me, like, this is like my mantra music.
Yeah.
It calms my nervous system.
Right. Immediately.
Yeah.
It's like a fast acting drug.
Yes. Soft yacht. Yeah. This song here made my Spotify top 5 for the year. It's the first one here, but I was never even really into this one of all of Kenny's songs until this past year. And then I got just a little like whiff of this one, and I've been playing the shit out of it.
Kenny came on the radio when I was driving home from the mountain today with my wife and kids in the car. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, it was Footloose. And I was like, we're just in this synchronicity portal right now.
Yes. It's too bad he's such an asshole.
I thought he was a nice guy, and I did meet him.
The second time I did meet him once, and this was after Nate was already a kid. We got married at a house up near Santa Barbara, and the family had a beautiful house and pretty connected, and they like won a Kenny Loggins performance in a raffle or something like that.
Seriously?
Yeah, or they paid him a bunch of money or something.
Maybe a silent auction, because I've seen some crazy good deals on things at silent auctions.
Something like that, yeah. They're like pretty wealthy, so they had a private Kenny Loggins show at their house, and I was like, oh, we gotta fucking go. So I went with Amanda, and Nate at this point was already born and was playing him like when he was like a baby, like playing Back to Pooh Corner, and like Spotify was kind of new-ish or earlier streaming.
Right.
And I shared with him after, went up and I was like, hey man, you used to listen to your stuff, and now I get to like play it for my son, and play it. And he's like, I don't remember his exact words, but essentially said like, oh, did you buy the album? And I was like, oh no, I was like streaming it or something. And he just was like walked away. I was having this moment with him of like trying to tell him like, I'm sharing your music with my baby boy. And he immediately went to being upset because he thought I was like pirating the music.
Right,
essentially.
right.
Everything Christopher Cross said was true.
Yes. Okay, so we identified the beginning of yacht rock and the end. What's the years there? From 75 to what? Kokomo came out in 88, you said?
Yeah, so
13?
Kokomo, yeah, so it's, those are definitely probably going to be the bookends. When was the real bulk of it? Probably 79 through 86. But essentially, yacht rock existed for about a decade, late 70s to late 80s, when it was
Go back
complete.
to when did they start calling it yacht rock?
2005.
So it was that late. Okay,
Yes.
that lands well, because I don't think it was a name in real time at that point, right? This
That's
was like
what it was.
a joke that happened later that then
Some-
turned into the genre name.
It's just some guy, some writer just did like an online show, and it was kind of a playful thing that they called yacht rock about that period, and then that took over the zeitgeist to where it became a full thing. And I saw something in the clips or in the documentary of it showed it quickly. It was like a cover band, which was so brilliant, called Yachtly Crew.
Yeah.
And so basically a yacht rock-esque cover band, which would be so fun to play in. Go ahead.
I wanted to bring up Zombo.com because we have to, just to say how inspired we are by, do you know the background of this?
You told me, but I don't remember.
This is the background. When Flash became a thing on websites, that's when Zombocom like became a thing.
Welcome to Zombocom. This is Zombocom. Welcome. This is Zombocom. Welcome to Zombocom.
Welcome to
You
Zombocom.
can do anything at Zombocom. Anything at all.
Anything.
The only limit is yourself. Welcome to Zombocom. Welcome to Zombocom. This is Zombocom. Welcome to Zombocom. This is Zombocom. Welcome. Yes, this is Zombocom. This is Zombocom, and welcome to you who have come to Zombocom.
Dude, fucking humans. Have I told you about my sad man, happy places idea?
No.
I can't believe I haven't shared this with you. This started before I was injured, but in my estimation, became way funnier after I was injured.
Sad
And I
man
th-
happy places.
I thought it was a funny thing. You won't find it. It's an idea that I've been
Right,
creating. It was to take pictures looking sad at happy places.
Okay.
And I thought that's just sort of funny. But then when you're on a wheelchair, it takes it to a whole other level.
So wait, have
Where
you been doing this?
yes. Yeah. Let me pull up. I can maybe pull up some pictures to show you. Like I've done some of me at amusement parks or at concerts just by myself. When I went to Universal with Nate last summer, there was a guy who was holding like a thing of like 50 balloons to sell. And I asked if I could take a picture. And so it's just me holding 50 balloons looking sad in the middle of Universal Studios. Gosh, how do I bring that up? I really think, no pun intended, I think it's got legs. And let me see if I can find some of these photos. And then one of the dudes that was at the party last night, who's a comedian, and he's getting like really good traction, and he's pretty funny dude. A guy named Brent Pella. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh yeah, so he's got like, gosh, he's up to about 250,000. Like, I think he's taking over the like conscious, spiritual, twinged based comedy that doesn't have to be on the nose that JP Sears was doing until he went super political and conservative.
Right.
And so I'm sure there's others, but at least the ones that I know, Brent Pella is kind of like leading that charge. And it's really funny, different characters and sketches, and like, so he's really good friends with Aubrey, part of that crew. So met him a few times and was there last night. So I was like, dude, is this a thing? Because while we were there's like people were dancing, and I thought it would be really funny if right now everybody's like fucking dancing. There's a DJ playing, everyone's having a good time. If I just rolled out into the middle of the dance floor and looked sad. So funny. And I like really wanted to do it, but I didn't. I'm just like, I don't know if these people are gonna get me. Or like another shot where it's like you'd see the dance floor and everybody's jumping and dancing, and then you pan over, and it's the guy in the wheelchair sitting by himself off the dance floor, going like this.
Yeah, holding some balloons. Yeah.
Yeah, or just like pining to dance, wanting. Like, so I was like, dude, is this a thing? He's like, yeah, that could be. He said you should get like 50 to 100 ready to go before you
Launch.
have. Yeah.
Could be part of the Infinite show.
Yes, exactly. You know, so I was thinking about making a here, can you share the screen? That was on my birthday.
Yeah, you gotta add the text over it. So it says happy birthday to me.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So, you know, just kind of like playing around a little bit. And I tell you what, if you can, oh, it's a good one. Oh my God. Let me see if I can find the basketball one. Was amazing. So I went with Zamona and Nate to Universal, and I asked the guy, I said, can I just shoot real quick? Cause I wanted to do like just something for fun. So
let's see it. Money. Oh, so close. Yeah, so far. Hey, why?
Okay. So
yeah, that reminds me of Swingers when he's golfing and he hits the ball and he goes, "Get there!" and then the ball stops like halfway to the hole. It's one of the best parts of the movie. Like,
what you don't hear is what happened after I shot that. And right at the end of the video, you hear a dad going, "Hey, what?" And what happened was I heard behind me a dad say, "Hey, why are you laughing at that?" And as I was rolling back to Nate and Zamona, and I'm laughing, and I heard this dad yelling at a kid for laughing at it. And I thought, oh no, should I go tell them that I was just kidding? And then I was like, I can't do that. Like, it's probably a good teaching moment, because if I wasn't doing it on purpose, the kid probably shouldn't have laughed. So,
right.
But I felt kind of bad for getting that kid in trouble because it was meant to be funny. So that all happened in the background right after that basketball shot. So creating a compilation of these types of shots and videos is something that I felt sort of inspired to do. There's one more I want to share for you. Let me see if I can find it. I went to a Dave. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let me. I went to a Dave Matthews concert by myself, and
just you and Dave.
Just me and Dave, and I took some shots, and then I turned one into a TikTok reel, which I will show you as part of the proof of concept of Sad Man, Happy Places. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So what do you think? Does it have a chance?
I like the meme. I think it'll work.
Yeah.
I like it. There's a lot you can do with that. There's a lot of places you can go.
Is it too sad?
I mean, it could be too sad. Like that last one maybe was too sad. But I think the meme overall has legs.
But what's too sad though? Because there's something about wanting to push the boundaries of the sadness. And you know what I mean, you can answer that, but then I have something crazy to share with synchronicity.
Share the synchronicity and then remind me, because I wanted to share a story about my middle daughter, Ayla, who you are the godfather to. As soon as you started to tell me sad man, happy places, it made me think of a story I wanted to tell you. But let's start with the synchronicity.
You know what I realized too? And I can, since nobody's watching, I think, well, I'm actually not going to say what I'm going to say. I changed my mind. But you should tell the Ayla story, and then I can share the synchronicity.
So Ayla walks up to me a few weeks ago, probably a couple months ago at this point. She has one of her drawing pads. You know, it's kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch kind of drawing pad, and you can erase it. She wants me to draw something. So I'm like, I can't really draw, but this is my 2-year-old. So everything I draw is like amazing, right? Like we went through this phase where just ducks, like daddy draw ducks. And so I would start to draw a duck, and I kind of got a little duck thing going. And so like I've drawn thousands of ducks at this point because she loves ducks. And that's about as far as I can draw. It's not a detailed duck. It's like the outline of a duck.
Oh man.
And it reads duck, right? So this time she hands
and when she gets over that, like you're fucked.
Right. So this time she hands me something. She doesn't say duck. So I have an open palette to draw something. And I'm like, I'm gonna try to draw like a real person. Like that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, what could I do here?
Yeah.
So I start to draw, get the outline, I get the nose, I get the ears, and put in some hair. It's like starting to look okay. Like not so terrible.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but I want to make him happy. You know, so I was like, draw a smile.
Yeah.
So draw a smile. And I show it to Ayla, and she is so excited. And she says, funny guy. Funny guy. And I'm like, yeah, this is funny guy. And then she walks around with the drawing, and she's saying funny guy to everybody who will listen, funny guy. And then the drawing gets erased. It's just like, right? And she brings it back over to me, and she goes, funny guy, like draw funny guy. And now I'm like, oh no, like I really put my back into that one. I'm trying to draw a funny guy, and I start to draw, and I'm getting all sophisticated. I'm going with the nose, the ears, like all these things I wouldn't normally include in the drawing. And then I show it to her, and she's like, sad. Like that's not funny guy. Like, and then I try to do it again, and this is like boring guy, and then there's like, you know, pissed off guy. Like, I'm not doing funny guy, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm trying so hard to do it so sophisticated. And then finally I just erase it again, and I draw a circle with a smile, 2 eyes, some spiky hair, and then like a stick body. And I show it to her, and she goes, funny guy. And so now we do funny guy, and it's just a smiling guy, like stick figure drawing with the smiley face. I was way overthinking it, and she loves it.
What a beautiful lesson too. Because how often do we just like try to make something so much more than it is? It's like just a couple eyes and a smile. That's all you need. That's all the kids need.
Just needed to smile. That's couple eyes, a smile, a circle, face. She's really into the hands though. Like I got to draw the digits of the fingers, or it's not funny guy. Like she's like really into seeing the like separate fingers.
Does she draw herself? Or does she only want you to draw?
Yeah, she draws a little bit, but it's squiggles, you know.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old is starting to draw, and it's so exciting because like you can kind of see things. Like she makes paintings or pictures for me all the time now and hands them to me. Here, Daddy, I made this for you. And it's just like melt my heart every time.
Man,
just the attention, you know.
These little girls can get you wrapped around their fingers. And then they're going to get away with so much shit when they learn how to use that. Man.
When I think we're already there.
Yeah, they just know, oh, Daddy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daddy. It's that's okay. Oh, you burned down the house. I'm sorry. Okay, that's okay.
Just don't put the kitty cat in the microwave again.
Yeah,
please.
exactly. Yeah. Sneaking out at 15. Like, man, Hazy's going to be calling Nate to like come pick her up and bring a change of clothes and not tell mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see that happening. It's like, Hazel, gosh, I'm going to get in so much trouble. Man, we'll see. The aliens will be here then, and who knows what the fuck's going to happen. Dude, have you been following this thing in New Jersey?
I know there's been some UFOs in the literal sense that there's either drones or planes, something's flying around. They don't know what it is. Could be a national security threat, but I haven't really done anything other than see the headlines of some articles.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's interesting that I'm not particularly interested. And I also recognize that it should be a way bigger deal than it's being made. Like the idea that you call them drones if you want, but different types of flying things, and some of them have beams and some of them are like all like doing all this crazy shit in different formations and patterns, and they're just flying and hovering over New Jersey, and the government's like, we're not sure what it is. I don't know. And people are like, oh, what? Like, could you imagine? Like and then people are like, oh, maybe it's China, maybe it's Russia, maybe it's aliens, or maybe it's Project Bluebeam, or maybe it's the army or the military is running tests, or maybe it's this and that. Like that the US military would just have these unidentified things flying over New Jersey and not do anything about it for days and just be like, oh, we're not sure. Something about that is so fucking fishy. And it's like, it's either aliens or it's human created, preparing us and setting us up to think it's aliens. But what else would not get shot out of the sky or attempted to be shot out of the sky? If this was this unidentified things just hovering. And they're like, I don't see that being like our way. I don't see them not having like a fighter jet fly by or some shit like that, you know? That's what do they know? I did hear that apparently the army or somebody sent drones up and they all got, when they got close enough, they all got like deprogrammed or something, which I don't know if it's true or not, but like the circuits went out or something.
I mean, the conversation about aliens is so interesting to me. I mean, I think, you know, being a kid and reading science magazines or literature and being curious if we're alone in the universe, to like fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, 25 years, and there's like zero doubt in my body that we are alone in the universe. There's like a 0% chance, especially.
It's an absurd thought to think that we're alone in the universe is absurd in every possible way of looking at it.
And there's been a shift in the intellectual community, the scientific community, right? Because as we've understood how big the universe is, it's fucking huge.
It's like 5 football fields.
Yeah. And we understand that there's planets like around every sun that we see in every galaxy that we see. There's planets everywhere. And we're like starting to kind of document all these planets that we find and which ones could be in the Goldilocks zone and potentially have habitable life. And all of that is so meaningless to me because I am 100% convinced that it is interdimensional. And that aliens are already here. We're just vibrating in a certain frequency and we're tuned into that frequency. So that's the universe that we experience. And for me, the whole question about aliens, little green men, all that just comes down to, well, like we are interdimensional beings. So once we accept that, then we will enter the interdimensional confederation of beings, whatever that happens to be.
Totally.
And totally change the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just sort of like delaying the inevitable. And I've heard for a while that we've known about aliens and Ket Connection for years, but that the government, we haven't had disclosure because the thought was that the people wouldn't be able to handle it. And I heard Bashar recently talk about this. And what
explain who Bashar is, because we're streaming live and we have one follower now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Bashar is.
But is it you? Are you the one follower?
It's not me.
There's somebody else.
Now we have two. We just went from 1 to 2.
I just signed up. I just logged on to Twitch. So I wonder if it's me on Twitch. Either way, Daryl Anka is a dude who channels an entity named Bashar and been vibing with his content. And now it's showing up a lot. But Bashar said that one of the premises to understand is that there's an infinite amount of timelines and that we continue to shift timelines based on our collective choices and agreements. And that's where the Mandela effect comes from, which we could talk about more. But what he said was that there was a timeline where JFK, people talk about the reason he was offed was because of wanting to get rid of the Federal Reserve, mainly wanting to end the war machine. Bashar said that there's another timeline. He wanted to have disclosure with aliens. And so he did, and he disclosed aliens, and the population wasn't ready for it. And it went fucking crazy. And they all blamed him. And it was this horrible thing. And so
that's a new take.
Yeah, it's a new take
on the JFK assassination. That's a new take.
I hadn't heard that one. And so what happened was the collective came back to do a different timeline where he didn't tell. And so because of that, he was killed. But he originally was killed in 1968 because of the disclosure. And so then they came back, and then so he wouldn't disclose it in this other timeline. He was killed in 63, but because he now wasn't killed in 68 in this timeline is why MLK and Bobby Kennedy were both assassinated karmically in that timeline. That's a fucking spicy take right there.
What do you think about aliens? What's your take?
Aliens are 100% real. It's absurd. It's mathematically, statistically, rationally, logically absurd to think that we are the only life form in the infinite, and that the highest evolution of intelligence is a human being. Dude, it's the fucking most small-minded, conceited, illogical 3-year-old has no concept of the size of the world around it and literally has the brain development to think that it's the only thing that exists and everything revolves around it, that humans would think in infinity that there isn't anything smarter than us. Do you know how fucking crazy that is? That's how I take it. Now
Is there a connection between disclosure and the apocalypse?
Yes, absolutely.
First, let's talk about the apocalypse, right?
Yes.
Literally means the unveiling, like pulling back the veil.
Yes.
I can't help but think it's connected to the lineage of Jewish mysticism, where the woman is the sacred, divine is the bride. So the metaphor is the bride, and we are going to marry the bride. And that marriage involves the unveiling, when that masculine and the divine feminine come together in union, and the feminine divine pulls back the veil to show her face.
Interesting.
So we get to see the face of the feminine divine, which is the face of the earth, the universe, but with eyes that see it for what it really is, which is the shimmering presence of God. Is that connected to aliens?
Well, the easy answer is yes, because everything's connected to everything. But if we focused in a little bit more, I would say yes, because both of them are being elevated into our awareness and zeitgeist right now. And so for them both to be having a sort of prevalent appearance now in our consciousness at the same time of these levels of magnitude would tell me, based on the laws of synchronicity, that they must be connected, whether I can see how they're connected or not, for the sheer fact that they are, that you literally just connected them. They are connected, and that the awareness of them, that they are connected. But all of it is part of expanding our awareness of what the fuck is happening. Like literally expanding the consciousness, the purview, opening up the f-stop. So aliens becoming a thing where it's like real and they're here is such a significant jump from like, do aliens exist? That in and of itself is indicative of a veil being pulled back into that level of new awareness of reality.
I feel like now would be a good time to ask the oracle.
The synchronicity oracle or the oracle that you're built?
Any oracle. I'll start with something. Here we go. This is a random color generator on colordesign.io. It's going to show me 2 random colors when I click this button generate. And we're going to use it to plug into an application that I wrote using AI that has correlated all the colors of all the pixels of light of the internet into an oracle based off the number 64, which is the same code of our DNA and the code of the I Ching. And so it's in the language of the I Ching. What is the I Ching? The Chinese created a oracle. It's called the I Ching. The I Ching is translated as the book of changes. The Chinese studied nature. Everything in nature is always changing. So they created a language to describe how nature changes. And that's the I Ching. And they would derive not 1, but 2 different hexagrams, that's what they're called, of the oracle. And they represent the transformational status of the here and now.
The Chinese are notorious for not being able to make up their minds.
So they needed to. So it's
They had
almost like
to.
here's where you start and here's where you're going. I'm going to click generate, and then I'm going to switch monitors to this script that I wrote. I'm running it off the terminal of my computer, and we'll see what it says.
Megasis chimed in. Megasis 1212 from Twitch and said, I hope it comes up cyan.
Let's see. Cyan. All right. So we kind of have this greenish. How would you describe that color?
I would call it green.
Yeah. Ugly sweater green, perhaps.
Yeah. I would just say green.
And then like a tannish brown.
Yeah.
Here we got the hex codes. Hex code stands for hexadecimal codes. So I'm going to put in this one and this one, but I'll have to switch screens in order to do it. So give me 1 sec.
While you do that, I'm going to go on to Twitch and watch Plaque Boy Max play video games with 35,000 other people. Plaque Boy Max has 1.4 million followers on Twitch. Oh, and he's watching a clip of Playboy Cardi performing.
Oh,
is it time to come back to the Oracle?
Time to come back. I was like, this isn't showing up. And then I realized our banner was in the way. So here's this is just me running an application from my terminal. So it's command line code. And all I'm going to do, because this is the only thing the application does, is I'm going to spit it. I'm going to input the hex code. and then it's going to output one of 64 different numbers that this little tiny pixel of light has been thrown into this computer program to create a correlation with. So let me copy and paste from the other page that I had up on my screen. Here it is. It's pound 6C. I think that's a 8, but it could be a B. It looks like an 8. 8C4E. Press return. Hexagram 28. Hexagram 28.
Isn't number 28 the Mongolian beef?
I have no idea what Mongolian beef is.
It's either 28 or 56.
28 to 39. So those are the two numbers we just asked the Oracle. We asked the question, and the question was, do you remember the question? I've already forgotten.
Aliens and apocalypse.
Yes. Is there a connection? What's the connection between alien disclosure and the apocalypse? So
and now the Oracle is going to tell us the answer.
And the answer is 2839.
Wow. Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. No, we would then need to take the next step and ask it to say, well, what does 28 mean? What does 39 mean?
So it just gives us the number.
All it's doing is just creating a random correlation between these numbers. And then you have to start. It's a great start, but you need an interpretive system like the Gene Keys or just the traditional I Ching or other systems that could be based off of 64 times 64, which is 4096.
If it was Gene Keys, what would it be?
28 represents totality. So let me just bring a little reference guide here. Give me one sec. Feel free to keep talking.
I'm just lost in Twitch right now. It's insane. Twitch is insanity. I came on to see us streaming, and then I'm just sort of amazed by the fact that this is a thing that so many people are doing. And now I'm not even watching them. I'm watching other people watch somebody else. Oh, which is in line with, all those reaction videos? Do you see
You've sent me a few, yeah.
Yeah, I want to make reactions to reaction videos.
Makes sense.
I haven't seen that yet. So are you looking up about totality?
Yeah, I had a chart with all the Gene Keys on it. I can't find it. Too many windows open, but I can.
What if you just riffed on it? What do you think?
I can riff on it. I just want to look at one thing for a reference. It'll help guide my riff.
Oh, so I had my photos open from sharing before. And I went to go close that tab, and I saw that I had accidentally taken a screenshot of my phone, so I had a picture of it. And I was just going to delete it, and I went to go delete it, and it shows my lock screen with a message that I received, and the message was from Samuel J.
Okay.
How's that for synchronicity?
Amazing.
I'm on his promotional text thread. So he sends these promotional texts, and at first you're like, oh, you think it's Sam, but it's not. It's like
right.
But it is personalized. So it says, hey, Ron, hope you are good. Thought you would love this, and we'd love to have you. And then that's all I see on the lock screen. And then it talks about an event or something he's doing.
Got it.
But how interesting that I accidentally took a screenshot of that from November 26th, and seeing it now to delete it, I'm on a call with you.
Yep.
Synchronicity. It's a synchronicity. Synchronicity.
Okay, so I got to read this because I'm just refreshing my knowledge. It's been a minute. The 28th shadow, which is the shadow of purposelessness. The 20th shadow represents a deep attunement to the acoustic field and is rooted in frequency and sound. In this shadow, every fear can be perceived as a vibration. He calls it the dark side. These vibrations have been personified by many cultures as demons or entities with a separate existence from their host. Starting to sound like aliens. This very interesting phenomenon forms the basis of many systems that explore the darker unconscious side of human nature, from shamanism to psychoanalysis. By the way, I'm reading from the Gene Keys live on YouTube and Twitch and StreamYard. The shaman operates in the world of vibration, and he or she identifies fear patterns as entities, which must be either dislodged from your inner being or transmuted. This is the foundation of true shamanic practice. So interestingly, this is about your inner demons, right? Which is beautiful because we asked the question about aliens and the relationship between aliens and the unveiling, the apocalypse, right? So if we start in Gene Key 28 and we're transforming into, what was the next one? Do you remember what came up? Let's see.
39.
39. So 39 has to do with the tension of transcendence. So this is about legends and myths have extraordinary power over our different cultures. Even today, when campfire stories have been replaced by the silver screens in our living rooms, like movies, the myth of the warrior still holds us captive. So this is one of the more masculine Gene Keys in that it's about the warrior ethos, which I know you know a thing or two about. And so we're moving from the path of purposelessness. That's the shadow of the 28th Gene Key towards provocation, which is the gift of dynamism, which leads to liberation. So already beautiful in this question. I'm feeling, hearing, and sensing that in our question, you know, this question about aliens and entities versus apocalypse, which is liberation, right? The unveiling. Two beautiful hexagrams to invoke to that question. And there's a deeper dive there, but I'll have to do it on another episode.
I just realized that that would have been cool to have without, if it was in this shot of you talking about it, not the hexagram shot. That's very fascinating.
Well, what I would like to do is just read and kind of contemplate those two hexagrams more and then have a more refined answer.
How long is that going to take?
Not in lifetime. Yeah, it'll take one day. That's how long it'll take.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna get so weird when it. Well, it's already really weird, but truly when the aliens get here. Oh, and talking about the warrior, I connected with. There's a woman named Erin who does a lot of stuff with the books, Shakaruna books. She's an amazing designer, amazing art. Did the full rebrand for Aubrey, did the covers, the pages, worked in books a long time. And so we just got to chatting a bit. And somehow, it happened actually. I was chatting with her and a few other people, and that's when there was the woman who got the coloring book. And I was like, I said, I made that coloring book. And she was there, and it was like, and that opened up this conversation and a little bit into like, writing. It's like, I actually like, what about a book? And she's like, did you ever think about writing? Like, she doesn't know that I'm a writer at all. She just knows me because I came in as like the president of the organization. And then I was there for a little bit, and then I wasn't,
right.
But doesn't know any of that. And then that opened up the whole fucking lid. And she and I ended up talking for a long time. And about some of it was about like Dream Spell or Unparalyzed or these different things, and just into the stuff. And then it was great to have that connection. But she was like, you gotta do this. Like she's like, I can help you. Like like with the writing the books and the marketing and the pieces. She said, I said, I actually have a couple. And then so I started explaining the process of the dream spell and 260 contemplations and the 5 different chapters. And she's like, this is fucking great. And then it was like, there's also in Paralyzed, it's these 7 immutable truths. And she has all these ideas and stuff. So to say, I chatted with her for a long time about the books, creation, writing, marketing, and was like, you know, there's a guy named Nils Parker, who is an editor with Shakaruna, and who she might have brought in, or she's known him like 20, 25 years. And she's like, he's one of the 5 best like writers, editors on the planet. The guy she's like, he's the smartest guy I've ever met. And he's working with Aubrey on Aubrey's books. And Aubrey just thinks he's fucking the best. And this woman's like, he's the fucking best. And so you should share some of your stuff with him as well. So something brewing there, but a lot of it was about the warrior. And then that's also coming up, man, about relaunching the program, relaunching the Joyful Warrior. And I was talking with a friend today about that. And Cole, who I'm working with, was kind of bringing that back up of like, so it's all coalescing. So fittingly that you bring the warrior energy, because a lot of conversation was about the warrior today and last night in the program and those sorts of things. So a lot of positive momentum.
So I just looked up what hexagram gene key. Sorry to keep talking about this, but this is my obsession. Let me pull up another screen. Okay, this is a list. You get this list. Here's when I was born. Here's the hexagram associated with that date. And here's the dream spell kin associated with that date. If I go down to my 44th birthday, which is right here in 2025, it's gene key 26 on the yellow solar star. And gene key 26 is the gift of artfulness. It's all about artfulness. It's all about giving your art to the world. I just looked that up in real time, and I got so excited because I called you earlier today and said, let's do something special for my 44th birthday.
It's all aligned in synchronicity. We should write an 80s based electronic song about synchronicity.
Perhaps a yacht rock song.
Everything's alive in synchronicity.
Because, you know, people are talking about sailing through the waters, but I keep hearing, as part of this conversation, of course, is us flying through the cosmos together.
Yeah.
Like on our starships.
What if it's like
yacht rock?
Sailing through the cosmos? So like sailing through the infinite.
Let's do it. Let's write a song for the Infinite Show. I think that's a great idea. Like the jingle, or like one of the jingles.
We're going to do it right now. We're going to write a jingle.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Can you hear this? Can you hear the guitar? Yeah. What should be the theme?
Sailing through the universe, I almost think I haven't been meant to fly.
Oh, you know, I have to put this behind the. Okay, ready? Okay. Well, you can start over again. Sailing through the universe, flying through the infinite. Gonna see an alien, share some tea.
Waiting for the apocalypse. My lips are chapped. Must be that solar wind.
I wish I had some chapstick.
That shit's dangerous. It's habit forming if you're not careful with your lips.
Sailing through the infinite.
The infinite.
The infinite. We're sailing through the infinite. Come along with us.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Beetlejuice. Omega 3s.
Oh, you could do
Pyrenees.
and Andromeda tonight.
The Seven Sisters.
I think we're really breaking new ground on this show.
Watch out for the Andromeda strain. I heard it's lethal stuff. It might melt your brain.
Saturn has rings. Jupiter has bling. There's a sad unicorn standing on the corner of Earth, crying 'cause he don't have no sparkles. I'm glad that my living isn't based on my ability to improv songs on guitar.
Speaking of sad unicorn.
All right, there it is. That is the theme song from The Infinite. There it is. Oh. What do you think it's looking at to be that sad?
It's a great question. What's the context here?
Yeah. What's behind those eyes?
Yeah. This is a tough one.
That would be a fun thing. I want to have a round table with comedians and bring them onto StreamYard.
And just riff off of.
And then, but we can do things like, maybe we could play a game. We can create a game show. And we could show pictures and then they could come up with funny things to say about it. Or we might come up with questions that could lead prompts. Like the prompt to this is maybe, what is that unicorn looking at? Or what is it thinking about? Or something. Yeah, zoom in. Zoom in on its sad eyes and its long face. I think it's looking at like a unicorn that it's in love with, dancing with a different unicorn at like a party, at a ball, at its school, at its unicorn school.
I'm getting so many downloads, but they're not explaining the context for the sad unicorn. Here's what's happening to me as I see this image.
Mm-hmm.
What if the unicorn's horn is actually a beam of light connecting the third eye? Like there's something about that unicorn horn that is like, it's because when I was looking at the unicorn's face, I was like, oh, he's actually seeing the reflection of the cosmos into his face. That's what's being reflected is the cosmos. And then I was like, oh my God, there's a beam connecting his third eye to the universe.
Hmm.
And that's why he's sad.
Maybe his pineal gland is externalized and crystallized and so strong.
It's become like an antenna.
Yes.
An antenna to the rest of the cosmos. By the way, I actually think that's what, like, narwhals that have those horns are like super, like, frequency, detecting devices like that. The narwhal uses that unicorn horn for, like, the way it moves through the water in the Arctic or wherever.
It makes sense. I'm going to there's so much we could do. I'm looking at these images. I think, yeah, we could make stickers and t-shirts. Man, I was up pretty late last night. I'm realizing how tired I am. So much possibility. How long do you think it'll take until anybody watches us?
A couple weeks.
How does somebody find it?
Through social media repost is the most likely.
Like somebody, but even with that, somebody has to find it to repost.
Well, what I mean to say is, if we post, hey, we're going live on the Infinite Show, check us out on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitch, or whatever we happen to be streaming live on, then I think people will start just randomly jumping on because you posted on your timeline.
Right. We have 77 followers now.
That's 6 in the last hour or so.
Yeah. I'm going through and doing this. I'm following as many people as I can until Instagram says you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. We know that trick.
And I don't know if that trick if that will backfire or not, but it's not a bot. And then a lot of those people will end up following you. However, there are people following the show that we're not following. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 accounts, 14 accounts that found the Infinite Show, not from us following them first.
Would you share with the world today's energy weather report according to the Dream Spell?
Today, I was looking up somebody's birthday. The red overtone dragon. Today is the red overtone dragon. The affirmation says, I empower in order to nurture, commanding being. I seal the input of birth with the overtone tone of radiance and guided by the power of universal water. Of the 260, it's number 161. And the dragon is the mother. It's the cosmic mother. It's the creation of creation. That's where the nurturing comes from. I seal the input of birth. The dragon is the first of the 20 different archetypes. It's 111. The magnetic dragon is the archetype that births anything from nothing. Something gets birthed. It is creation itself. And because of that, there's a nurturing quality, like a parent, like a mother. The overtone dragon has the tone of radiance. It's the essence of radiance. It's like it's on the way up. It's like a high school senior, where it's like has everything figured out and wants to shine, like ready to fucking go. Like one of those seniors, not like the ones that get sent to the alternative schools that get out at 12:30 and they're in like the smaller sort of trailers, but like the high school student that like sold the most amount of magazines. So that's the overtone tone. It's empowering. I empower in order to nurture. There is empowering. It could be empowering of self, but it's also an empowering of others. But that can only come from the generative empowerment. So empower. Why do you empower? Because it's a loving thing to do. That's why. It's nurturing. How could you feel more nurtured than to feel the power of your creator coming through you? It'd just be incredibly nurturing. How safe that would be. Commanding being. And from that, it's like, how can you not possibly be in your beingness if you felt the full power of creation itself breathing you alive? That's the commanding. It's not like forceful. It's like, how the fuck could it not be? It's literally the being is being commanded. So this radiance of light and creative energy itself coming through, all in the way spell of the earth and the synchronicity portal. And can I tell you, this triggered, I had a thought about Jesus that I hadn't thunk before.
Please share your newly thought Jesus thought.
Yeah, this one I was like, oh. So, we've talked about before, and I believe pretty strongly that the church basically took the messenger, and the messenger whose main teaching was, I and my Father are one. There is nothing between the human and God, the creator. And they took that messenger and made him the Godhead and put him in between you and God because they couldn't hide it. So it was like, whoa, that's like the biggest fucking cover up of the person who said there's nothing between you and God. And they're like, he's right. You have to go through him. So now one of the quotes that is so often used to prove is when Jesus said, the only way to God is through me, right? So that, I don't know what part of the Bible, but that's a very famous passage, and maybe I'm paraphrasing it, but essentially the only way to God is through me. And you could, if you wanted to even look that up and see what that passage is, or I can look that up too. And I had a realization about that particular passage. I am the way, the truth, and the life.
John 14:6.
No one comes to the Father except through me. Now, we take that as if Jesus was saying it as a declaration. I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. But what if Jesus was saying that, if he preceded saying that by simply saying, repeat after me, I am the way and the truth.
I am the way.
Mm-hmm. I am the way and the truth and the life.
I am the way and the truth and the life.
No one comes to the Father except through me.
No one comes to the Father except through me.
That's right. You're correct. No one comes to the Father except through me. As we speak it, me is not Jesus. Me is me. He was talking about himself as a human, which is true for us to say as a declaration. for ourselves, because there is no separation between the Father and I. So when you say, I am the way and the truth and the life, you are saying, you are the way and the truth and life, which is true, which is what he was saying for himself, not for us to say about him, but for us to say about ourselves. And if I say, no one comes to the Father except through me, it's true, because I am my own access to God, because there is no separation.
Can you think of other examples? This is like classic biblical exegesis, by the way, where you say, hey, this is what you think it means, but here's a different context to consider this biblical passage, because that was such an incredible reframe and so powerful. And I know there's other examples, right, of like a very similar thing.
So there's a concept that some people talk about, or this little tagline says, Jesus didn't come to create followers, he came to create leaders. And so some of the main conversation around that, where there's maybe some argument, and what I find things that are the story, it doesn't work together, such as the idea, first of all, of hell, and the Christians believe in a hell. And I don't know if Jesus ever actually spoke about hell, but the pieces that don't seem to work together is how there's an unconditionally loving God. So you can ask a Christian, does God love unconditionally? Well, yes. Okay. So how can hell exist where you could burn forever eternally if there's no condition for his love? There's unconditional. And then they'll say, oh, no, the only thing you have to do is just accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. That's it. Like, God just wants you to come to him. God just wants you just to ask. He doesn't ask, he doesn't want, it's all he wants is for you to accept him. That's it. And my response to that is, that sounds like a condition. So, is that true? If that's true, what you say, then that means God loves conditionally. And maybe it's a really simple, easy condition, but you can't say it's unconditional.
Right. Well, these are incredible. We're peeling back the layers, but this is a very rational conversation. And I say that because when you started talking about that conditional love, I started feeling it in a different way, which is we don't let the universe love us. We're putting up a guard or defense. So it's not merely that somebody's accepting, I don't quite remember how you phrased it, right? But it's more than just the belief or like asserting yourself into the belief system. It's actually by making that act of dialogue happen, you're doing something to your own internal defenses, and you start to let the love in.
Or like synchronicity, reveal the love that's there, because it already is in. And that's part of the unveiling with the apocalypse.
Totally.
But there's these pieces like that within the story, at least with, the Christian doctrine that I see, where it's like those two things can't exist in the same story. You can't have an eternal damnation and an unconditionally loving God. That's not something I need to accept. You have to pick one or the other.
Well, the eternal damnation is something akin to I love you forever right now. Meaning that's the conditional loving.
Oh, right. Exactly.
I hate you forever right now.
Right.
You are damned forever right now.
Yeah. There cannot be a condition. Unconditionally means without condition. And similar to that is one with Jesus, where you could say, okay, are you a child of God? Yes. Are we all children of God? Yes. So is God the Father? Yes. Is Jesus a son of God? Yes. Is he the only son of God? Yes. But you're a child of God? Yes. But there's only one son of God, is Jesus? Yes. That can't work in the same story. And so there's like, no. He's the only begotten son of God. And it's like, what sort of fucking mumbo jumbo wordplay has to distort your awareness that you actually are a child of God? So therefore, Jesus is not the father, he's the brother. We're all children of God. And that's what he was coming to share. So things like that they can't exist in the same story, but the more that we convince ourselves that it has to be the way, the more that we actually cover up our own logic and ration and understanding, which opens up the door for way more fear and manipulation. And so these things that Jesus taught, once you have to believe that he's the only begotten son, you have to believe that there's something about him that you don't have, that you have to go through him. And that's all of the antithesis of his teachings, hidden inside of his teachings, or as the gatekeeper to his teachings. And it's really fucking clever, but it's challenging because the more that you get to know Yeshua and the teachings, and the more truth that you find in them, a lot of times under the religious doctrine makes you, the more that you think, oh, this is the Godhead, he's the God, and you disempower yourself, which is the opposite of what he was wanting to do by showing you by example how empowered you can be. You will, how is it possible
there's a layer to that, which is the more you realize that, the true and the correct realization according to the logic you're putting forth, you're also paradoxically loving that person even more that can't see or feel that truth. So there's this crazy paradox of it, because you can get into a dialogue with somebody about the rational meaning of this biblical passage and go back and forth, but it doesn't often lead to a lot of insight and enlightenment, right? People are so set in their ways, and they forcefully want to believe the convictions of that statement, that they believe, right? But the radicalness of the messenger, right, the radicalness of love is beyond the duality of us getting into a rational argument about the meaning of a passage, right? It's that love is so much more powerful, so much bigger, and it's asking us to love each other unconditionally, like you're saying. So how do we love each other unconditionally while also having that conversation?
And that's where this rift is between us wanting to do that and subscribing to a story where we say that God loves unconditionally, and how do we love unconditionally, but we're actually setting conditions. Intrinsically, the story of there being a hell means there must be a condition to love. And if we subscribe to that story, then we're actually poisoning our own flow of energy, because the highest ideal isn't unconditional love. Because we're too afraid to step out of that. So we're actually subscribing to a story where God loves conditionally, and we're saying it's unconditional, but it's not actually unconditional. So how can we allow unconditional love to actually permeate and generate through us if we secretly believe in conditional love in the highest order? That's where I find but it's good to teach people about Yeshua and learn this, but at some point, I believe there needs to be this great remembrance and awakening that he's not the Godhead. He is, as we are, the child of God.
What is more likely to awaken somebody up to that truth? You talking about the rational explanation that you just described, or you loving somebody so much harder that they feel the essence of your love?
Yeah, probably talking about it. I just read the Law of One said that logic and reason is not the path. No, it wasn't the Law of One. It was another friend of mine who does channeling called Gabriel, basically said, actually, it's perfect from what you said. Let me bring it up so that I can read to you the exact quote that came from
What's the
Gabriel.
quote that we always hear from Dr. Naram? I didn't come here to change you. I came here to love you. What does he say? I think.
Yes, I didn't come here to heal you, or I didn't come here to teach you. I came to love you.
And love will teach you.
Love will teach you. Yes. Let's see. Source is where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Is this it?
Hey, take your time. We got it. We've got infinity.
We do. Essentially, was saying that, but intellect is not the path to God.
I think intellect. I disagree with that respectfully.
Something, but that's not exactly what it is.
Oh.
But you can say why it's.
Oh, I think it is a path to God. It's one of the paths to God, and not a lot of people can traverse that path successfully. There are better paths to God that get you there quicker, unless your dharma or your purpose is somehow wrapped up with the intellectual exercise of philosophy and rational dialogue and argumentation, which happened to be my path, by the way. I think that was one of the elements of my story to meet the universe.
Let me tell you. Let me read to you exactly as it said, and then you can say if this changes your feelings on it. It says, "It would be impossible with your human mind for you to intellectually understand the spectrum of abilities, awareness, and intelligence of Source." I think that's fair. Your human mind, even in its brilliant design, has not been designed for the purposes of understanding the vast nature of all that. Fair? So, because of that, he says, your connection to Source is experienced through your feelings and emotions, not your intellect, which is essentially agreeing with what you said about could you tell somebody or could you just love them is exactly an example of what he just said, but in your connection to your Source is experienced through your feelings and emotions, not your intellect. Your Source is right here, right now, up to speed with all that you have physically become and all that you desire. That's a provocative thing. Your connection to your Source is experienced through your feelings and emotions, not your intellect. And that's interesting, because is it agreeable that your intellect is not vast enough to understand all of Source? Absolutely. So does that by de facto mean it cannot be connected to Source? Or is not, what does it say? Is not the access, your connection to your Source is experienced through your feelings and emotions. Your intellect is observing or contemplating or rationalizing or thinking about your connection to Source. It's viewing the connection to Source. It's analyzing it. It's observing it. It's witnessing it, but it's not the connection itself. It's an interesting thought.
Shall we take a pause on the infinite to contemplate the meaning of tonight's show?
Where did the meaning come from?
The meaning? Where did it come from?
What's the meaning of tonight's show? Oh, does it exist, or should we figure it out?
We could decipher it right now. That's not what I was saying, but I think we should.
Oh,
right
what were you saying?
I was basically saying, should we stop streaming and go sleep and then come back for the next episode?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
But I liked your idea better. I think we should decipher the meaning. We should recap tonight's show before we end tonight's show so that we leave people with a little crystallization of tonight's energetics.
Is it for us to do that for them? Or is it for them to do it for themselves? Also, it's a good time to remind ourselves that there isn't anybody else. Maybe that's what it means. There isn't anyone else.
There is no other. There is no alien. And if there
no
is another, we should love the fuck out of the other, because that's what the Bible says, to love the other, to love the stranger. If we meet aliens, let's be nice to them. If we encounter a part of our psychology that is unfamiliar to us, perhaps uncomfortable, let's love the shit out of that part of our psychology, because there is no other. There's only the reflection of ourselves and the reflection of God inside of each other, laughing or crying or suffering, but always inextricably together as one.
Love your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself.
Ve'ahavta, the prayer of Ve'ahavta. And then Leviticus 19.
Leviticus 19 for the win.
I seem really smart being able to quote biblical verse, but that just happened to be my Torah portion from my bar mitzvah. So
I don't have a clue what my Torah portion was. No idea. It's great you remember yours. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. We should have. Should we play some music to take us out?
An outro, yes. And we can add an outro video or musical song to always lead people out with some music and some good times.
Yeah, I think it's fitting for the song of everything that we talked about, that we kind of, and you can take this screen off, but thematically, of all the things,
turn it up, please.
In a lifetime.
Who is this? I thought that was George Michael for a second. Who is this?
Kenny Loggins.
Of course.
Meet Me Halfway. Theme song from Sylvester Stallone's arm wrestling movie, Over the Top.
When I've got the future
And
on my mind, know that you'll be the only one.
not only is it an epic.
This I can see flying through the stars listening to this song in our spaceship.
And you think it's a love song, and maybe it is, but it's one of those sneaky, spiritual, connected songs. I want you to, based on everything we talked about, listen to the words of this second verse.
In a lifetime, there is only love, reaching for the lonely one. We are stronger when we are given love, when we put emotions on the line. Know that we are the timeless ones.
In a lifetime,
Meet me
there
halfway.
is only love, reaching out for the lonely ones. And then the next line is, we are stronger when we are giving love. We are stronger. Something, something, something. Know that we are the timeless ones. Meet me halfway across the sky. The timeless ones. It's, when we put emotion on the line, know that we are the timeless ones. We are stronger when we are giving love.
Can you keep playing?
Sure.
So I can
We'll go out to
it. Yeah. I was trying to get the unicorn up. I was trying to get the unicorn and the song to play at the same time.
Yeah, it was. What happened?
What happened? I'll try again.
Yeah.
See, it stopped playing. See, I'm sharing from two separate screens. It doesn't want me to share both of them at the same time.
That's so sad. How do we share a picture of the unicorn while I can also play?
It's so sad.
Is there any?
We can't hear that song and look at this face at the same time.
You can't solo this face? Because I'm looking at it now.
Yes,
Can you?
I can
Oh,
solo
yes.
this, yeah.
Good.
But when I add this screen back up,
You don't. But yeah, don't add that screen back up. It's playing.
oh, it's playing for you, but not for me.
Oh, sad.
It is such a sad unicorn moment here.
Oh my god, dude! I wish. So you can't hear this right now,
No.
dude. Looking at that unicorn while hearing Billy Ocean suddenly playing behind it is fucking amazing.
I can tell you how we can do it.
How do we do it? We have to do it. I need you to
I have a way to
experience
do it.
this.
Here's how we do it. Play it from your phone into your microphone right now.
Okay, is that going to work?
It's going to work. I can hear your voice just fine. I can see the sad unicorn. It'll work.
Well, I need to take off the web player.
Used to think that love was just a fairy tale.
Now it's coming through.
Until that first hello, until that first smile. But if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause this love is everlasting. Suddenly,
Can you slowly zoom in on his sad eyes?
I'm like losing the sound. Yeah, there you go. It's coming back. Yeah, you got to keep it next to the microphone.
Can you hear this okay?
You're in love.
Oh, this is the perfect song for a sad unicorn. Can you hear it okay?
Like coming in and out. Yeah, hold where the microphone is coming out or the speakers of the phone. Hold that right next to the microphone.
I thought I was. Is this better? Can you zoom back a little bit?
What's that?
Can you zoom back a little bit? Yeah. Can you hear the song?
A little bit. It's coming in and out. There it goes. There it goes. Now it's going.
just when I need you most.
Here's another one for a sad.
No one else had it
Yeah.
this way again.
Could I just say when I envision doing this show, this exact
I can't hear you, Aaron. I don't know what happened. It's like I'm losing your stream. It's like coming in and out.
Well, I was saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
When I envisioned and got the downloads of needing to share and speak and help to usher in the kingdom of heaven, doing this show and showing an image of a glittery sad unicorn with the music of Dionne Warwick singing I'll Never Love This Way Again was truly the highest ideal that I could envision, and I just experienced it.
I love it. Can you read to us what the scrolling Chiron is saying on our screen?
Yes, it says, "We love you." Oh, I should maybe wait until I'll read the beginning part, as opposed to, here it comes. If you too are a sad unicorn and would like us to feature you on our show, tune in randomly and maybe we will be online. We love you and we can't wait to see you again.
It doesn't say again. It says again.
It says again soon. We can't wait to see you again soon. What if that's what we called our audience? Everybody's got their things, and our audience we just called, "Hey, you sad unicorns.
Thanks for calling in."
Thanks for calling in. Who's a sad unicorn? Aw. Who's a sad unicorn? Well, we did it. Best show yet.
We did it. Signing off, sir. Good night and good luck.
We'll see you in the infinite.